Hello everybody, how are you? Hello everybody, how are you? It is time to start our day. It is time to work and play. Hello everybody, how are you? Hi guys, welcome back for another day to celebrate Christmas. Today, can you guess who we're talking about? What do you think? You got any clues in front of you? We're talking about Santa Claus today. We are going to begin with a story, and it's a fun story because it takes us a little bit beyond Santa Claus, and it talks about Santa and the true meaning of Christmas. So let's dig right in. It's called Santa's Favorite Story, and there's Santa. Can you tell where Santa is? Where do you think he is in that picture? It looks to me, I don't know, there's some animals around. There's some trees around. I think maybe he's in the woods or something. And what do you think he's doing in that picture? He's kind of taking a nap, isn't he? It's got to be exhausting to be Santa. He works hard. It's got to be just very tiring. So I think Santa deserves a little time in nature and taking a nap. Okay. Oh, you know what? Did I miss a page? Let's go back and see. I did. I almost started you mid-story. That would have been confusing, wouldn't it? Let's see what we have here. One cold day in December, a fox was walking in the forest. As he looked at the snowy trees, he remembered that it would soon be Christmas. Then he heard something. He sniffed the air and he looked around. There, fast asleep against a tree, was Santa Claus. He was snoring. Oh my goodness, thought the fox. Santa Claus has come early this year. I'd better go and tell everyone else he's here. So he'd hurried off to tell all of the other animals that lived in the forest. When they heard the news, the animals hopped and ran and scampered and flew to the tree. A squirrel chattered excitedly, and Santa Claus slowly stretched, yawned, and then opened his eyes to see the faces of a dozen little creatures. "Why are you here?" they asked him. "Is Christmas going to be early this year?" asked the fox. "Oh, I'm sorry if I've worried you, my friends," said Santa. "I went for a long hike this morning to get in shape for Christmas Eve, but I guess I walked until I got too tired. Maybe all those heavy presents will be too much for me to deliver this year." The animals looked alarmed. "Does that mean there won't be a Christmas anymore?" asked the fox. "No, no, no," said Santa in a kindly voice. "Christmas hasn't got anything to do with me. Sit down and I'll tell you all the story of the first Christmas." It happened long ago in a faraway place called Bethlehem. Some shepherds were watching over their sheep in the fields outside the town. It was very quiet and still. Suddenly, a beautiful bright star appeared in the sky. The shepherds heard a voice saying, "Do not be afraid. I have good news for you all. Today in the town of Bethlehem, the Christ child has been born. God has sent his son to show what God's love is like. Follow the star to the stable." So the shepherds followed the star over the hills and through the valleys, across bridges, and past little villages. All the while, the star shone brighter and brighter until at last it stopped above a small stable. The shepherds and their sheep stopped too, for there in the stable was a baby laying in a manger. The shepherds knew that this was the Son of God, and they had knelt down and prayed. And that is what happened in Bethlehem when the Christ child came. It's my favorite story because it reminds me why we are so happy at this time of year. Love was the gift God gave to us on the first Christmas, and it still is, you know. And this love letter is far better than any present I can ever deliver. Santa Claus put his hands in his pockets and looked slowly around the circle of animals with a kind and happy smile on his face. "How silly we have been," said the fox, "to think that Christmas was only about presents." "So now you know," said Santa. "But come on, you're right that it's almost Christmas. Let's go back to my place and get things ready." All the animals followed as Santa Claus ran off toward the house. He didn't even look tired anymore because he had remembered how much fun his work was going to be. The animals stayed at Santa's house until Christmas Day and helped him every way they could. Of course, the reindeer helped by going out with him to deliver the presents the night before. After a fine Christmas dinner, Santa gave every animal a present, And as they sat around the fireplace later in the day, they all asked to hear Santa's favorite story again. It was a very special Christmas day for everyone. Santa was sure that he had the nicest time of all, though, because he remembered that the best present ever is Christmas itself. It's the birth of Jesus, and God's love is the best Christmas ever. And Santa sent us a little reminder of that today. So Santa, to thank you, we've got a few Santa activities we're going to do together. First, can you make a Christmas tree? Christmas trees are pointed like a triangle, so let's make a pointed triangle. Way up high in the Christmas tree. How many? Let's say 10 little candy canes winked at me. I gave that tree a great big shake. Down came the candy canes. There, great. Oh, they are so yummy, aren't they? So I want to make a Santa with you guys today. I made one ahead of time to show you, and then we're going to make one together. So let me show you how it looks, and then I'll tell you what supplies we're going to use, and you can get the supplies. You can pause the video, go get the supplies, and we can make it together, or you can wait till we're done and you can make it on your own, maybe even with some different supplies. So the first supply you need, before I even show you what we're doing, is a hand. Do you all have a hand with you today? A free hand you can use? Because you're going to need it. All right, this is what mine looks like. Okay, so I made this Santa. This is what you guys can make, a handprint Santa. But I don't think I made his hat quite like a Santa hat. Mine almost looks like a pirate Santa, don't you think? I think I got the shape a little off, and mine looks like a pirate Santa. Maybe I should give him a little eye patch over one eye, too. This is what yours might look like when you're all done, so let's make it together. Here are the supplies that you need. Like I said, you need a hand, because if it's a handprint Santa, you're going to trace one of your hands. So you're going to need that, and I chose to use, I wanted a nice thick paper. This is actually from a file. You can see the little indentation here. This is a piece of a file that I just cut off, and I'm going to use this because it's nice and sturdy. To make his hat, I have a piece of red paper. Now you have a few options for his face. let me show you again. Okay, on mine, I have googly eyes, so I use those. If you don't have googly eyes, I have a little red pom-pom for the nose. If you don't have that, markers work perfectly. So do crayons and pencils or any other kind of writing thing that you might have at home. For his beard, can you tell what I used? Those are marshmallows. I have some marshmallows left from something, so I used some glue and I put marshmallows on there. If you don't have marshmallows, you can use white paper, white tissue paper that you tear and crumble. That's a great thing to use. Or you can use cotton balls. I used a cotton ball for the tip of his hat, for this part of his hat. You know what else I could do? Actually, I think I will. I'll go back and I'm going to put some white here. Maybe that will help. To make the white there, let me get a cotton ball. Something you can do, instead of having a big ball, is you can take a cotton ball and you can stretch it. And see, and then it kind of thins out. So then later on, I'll go, now maybe that will help. That's what it needed. Look at that, you guys. All right, I'm going to glue that on later, and then he won't look like a pirate anymore. Then he'll look more like Santa Claus. Okay, so you can use cotton balls, you can use marshmallows, white tissue paper torn up and balled up, like I said, that would be a great thing to put on there. So those are the supplies you need. Oh, and a pair of scissors and a pencil or a crayon to trace your hand with. So if you want to pause the video and go get your supplies, I'm going to go ahead and get started. You can come back and join us, or you can watch now and come back and make your own later. So let me get my file folder here. I'm going to put my hand on it, and I am going to trace my hand. Well, this is going to be tricky because I don't have anything to put this up against. So I'm going to just do this part of my hand. Can you see that? I'm just going to do my 4 fingers right now. And I'm going to go up and in and down and up and around and get my fingers. So now that I've traced, now I have to take my scissors. Do you remember how we hold our scissors? We put our 2 fingers on the bottom, thumb up on the top, open its mouth and go chop, chop, chop. And this hand is, of course, our steering wheel hand. He's going to hold the paper while this hand does the cutting. So I'm going to go up my line. And this can be kind of tricky because there's a lot of in and out with fingers. So if you need a grown-up's help, if you need a big brother or a big sister's help, don't be afraid to ask for it. That's part of what they are there for, to help you out. Now, if you are a big brother or a big sister, and you have a little brother or sister doing this with you, maybe you can help them if you know how to do it. Okay, so here's my beard. My face is going to be a little bit smaller this time because I didn't have my hand all the way on there. So what I would do next is I'm going to take my glue and I'm just going to put glue on the bottom part of the beard. And that is where I would choose to put my tissue paper, my cotton balls, my marshmallows, whatever I have. I would cover the beard with that. Then I'm going to come up here, and because I used googly eyes before, I think I'll use my markers this time. I'll make this guy a little bit different. What color eyes do you think I should give Santa? You know, I think because yellow is our color of the month, I think Santa is going to have yellow eyes today. So I'm going to give him a couple of eyes. 1, 2 eyes for Santa today. And then I think I'm going to stick with the red nose. That's the color I used on the other one that I made. I think I'm going to stick with a red nose. So the next thing I'm going to do is get my red marker. I'm going to put a red nose right in the middle. Okay, and then my glue wasn't coming out, so I did not get his beard put together for you here. Let me try one more time. Now, my glue, I think, is pretty much gone. So I'm going to go and make the hat. Now, to make the hat, you saw I didn't do the best job the first time through. What I did, 2 fingers on the bottom, thumb up on the top, open the mouth, and I chop, chop, chop. And I just I looked at the hat I'm wearing, and I thought it kind of goes up to a point, and then it goes this extra point over here. So I went up, chop, chop, chop to a point. Then I turned with the steering wheel hand, and I came back down. I started to come back down, but then I noticed, like I said, it had this extra point. So I went out to the side a little bit. And that's when I can glue that on and give the white there. So one more time, let me show you my finished product here with the addition that I added there. You can make a Santa that looks like that and have a new Christmas decoration in your house. That is going to be personal because it's from your very own hand. So that is something that you may go and do now. And I've got one more thing that's going to be on the internet for your grown-up to print off for you. You have 2 choices with this. Let me show you this paper. Okay, who's on here? We of course have Santa and his helper, an elf, and we have a reindeer, looks like Rudolph to me. Now coming out of Santa is a dotted line, straight one. Coming out of the elf, we've got kind of a up and down, up and down, up and down zigzag. Coming out of the reindeer, we've got a curvy, wavy kind of a zigzag there. You have 2 choices, or you can do both if you want to print it 2 times. You can take your scissors again, and you can start at the bottom of the line, and you can cut, 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 but stop when you get to Santa. Now, when you do these 2 lines, it'll be a little trickier because your steering wheel hand is going to have to turn the paper when you're cutting. If you don't want to cut, you can take a marker, crayon, pencil, and you can trace the lines. I'm going to trace Rudolph's line here. I'm going to go up and over and down, up and over and down. I'm going to do my best to stay on the lines. I got off a little bit, but that's okay. So those are 2 different things you can do with this paper today. Thanks for coming to talk about Santa with me. Tomorrow when you come back, we of course have to talk about the reindeer. And we of course, if we're talking about reindeer, we have to play some reindeer games. So come on back and see me tomorrow. Goodbye everybody. Have a great day.